LSU gets upset by Vanderbilt. Complete embarrassment. Your thoughts?
Blake, look, I'm being quite candid with you here. I'm like not trying to. I'm not trying to like rub anything.
There's nothing you're going to say that I didn't say yesterday.
Well, okay.
Go ahead.
But I want to be very clear here. LSU fans, for some reason, some LSU fans think I have some sort of grudge against LSU because I am a Notre Dame fan. I have said this time and time again. I don't care what Brian Kelly does and what he's done to this point because I have my own coach that I respect and that I like after I was wrong about assessing who he was. The only times I've reacted is when people start chiming in when I say things about Notre Dame. Blake, I think that you're at the point where you have to have a serious conversation on the future of the program.
No, I'm with you.
It doesn't, to me personally, and I know that this is just from the national perspective, from my perspective, it doesn't make sense to get rid of him and to fire him with how big his buyout is. It doesn't in my eyes. Absolutely next season is when he is legitimately on the hot seat. I think his buyout goes down to $40 million. My problem...
No one's counting, but...
It sounds like you are. My problem is that we just fired James Franklin, and the reason why we just fired James Franklin was that he bought in and got the administration and the fan base to buy into dumping resources into this year being their title run.
Mm-hmm.
They lost 3 straight games. 2 of them were inexcusable. LSU did not lose inexcusable games. But for Brian Kelly to have framed this season and this offseason as the buy-in, the preparation, the lead-up, the path to a national title, to win in the SEC, I'm going to get it done. And they are falling short in games that they're supposed to win. These are supposed to be winnable ranked games against Ole Miss and against Vanderbilt. Like, they simply just don't look like they have the toughness to fight through a fist fight. They don't. And that's the biggest problem that I have with this team. And Joe Sloan, for the love of God, should have been taking his play calling away months ago. That is the head coach's responsibility. It's what got James Franklin fired with Andy Kotelnicki being a bad play caller. And now we've got the same thing happening with Joe Sloan, calling all these dumb plays in situations that don't make sense. You couldn't convert after getting Caden Durham down to the
hold on
the 1 yard line.
Let me stop you right there. I don't go to in-season press conferences.
Mm-hmm.
Ask me what my question was to Brian Kelly 2 weeks ago.
What was it?
Why are you rotating guys in and out when you have critical moments in games? And he said, we've been better at that. No, he hadn't. I'm calling for Cortez to be fired because he did. That's inexcusable. So what? Barryon Brown got in a scuffle at the 1 yard line. It's a tough game. You could be down by 3. Continue. But
that was it.
Face-to-face asked him, it's idiotic. It's stupid. And quite frankly, 2 things are going on right now. I don't think the culture's bad. No. A lot of former players are saying the culture's bad. They're wrong. The coaching's bad. I can look at Billy Napier and say, there's a good culture. It's a bad coach. Brian Kelly's not a good coach right now. There's a complete difference. And people don't want to look at that in the face and say, oh, former players are right. Brother, no, he's not. The culture's not bad. The coaching's horrible. You settle with Joe Sloan. And to be frank with you, there's 2 teams in FBS that have not scored over 25 points against P4 opponents, North Carolina and LSU. LSU's got to find a run game. You did. You had a 5-star running back that was getting 6 yards a carry. He got 5 carries in the first half, then got 6 touches the rest of the way. Why? You're getting absolutely abused in time of possession, and you're running the ball for 6 yards a carry, and you can't stop them. You can't stop them. So what do we want to do? We want Garrett Nussmeier to throw the football around with a left tackle that went out in Tyree Adams. You ran the ball for 6 yards a carry. Garrett Nussmeier I got to give him this, played his heart out, took some massive shots. LSU made some plays, and at the end, they had 2 situations where the defense forced 3 and outs, and they could get nothing. All about what happened in the red zone at the 1 yard line. They're not a well-coached team at all. They have no idea what they're doing offensively. And quite frankly, here's just the truth. Whether Brian Kelly stays or goes, there's got to be a complete change on the offensive side of things. Complete. And LSU fans right now feel like they're stuck because you have a coach that has a massive buyout, and either you're going to have to change, which you're going to have to change the offensive staff either way. But are you going to spend that much money to change and completely cut out the entire offensive staff and Brian Kelly still stay there or not? You got to be able to win games multiple ways. Sorry, go ahead.
So no, you're good. I keep thinking that you were done.
I'm done. I'm done.
This is a lingering. It's a lingering
People
issue
act
now.
like I've been defending him. Where have I defended him in any loss? Early on in 2022, when he had 30 scholarship players, yeah, I'm going to defend him. I mean, he had to go out and get 47 players from the portal. Yes, in 2022, I'm going to defend him because at what point do you sit there and say, hey, he's inheriting a dumpster fire? But here's the problem. You had to do it again, and you had to do it again, and you had to do it again. And then you called out the fan base and you called them spoiled.
See, and that's where the big problem now comes.
Oh, he's going to find out how spoiled they are.
The framing of how everything has been approached. And that's why I have never really been truly a fan of his communication and his lack of ownership for issues. That, at the end of the day, the biggest thing you just said, the coaching is the biggest issue because you have one of the most talented rosters in college football. This was, again, it comes back to the James Franklin comparison where they had one of the most talented rosters in college football. But you have running backs who aren't getting used effectively. You have an offensive line that's getting completely bodied in every single game. You've got Garrett Nussmeier, who had first-round talent and who has not taken a step forward or improved. You've got all of these things on the offensive side of the ball that are just way under capability. And that is where Brian Kelly has to take ownership. Mm-hmm. He has to take some sort of ownership. Like I do think that there is a somewhat of a path for him still to find success at LSU because that's where it might shock Notre Dame fans for me saying. But he needs to stop doing this crap where he's done this in the past where he's pulled a quarterback, he's fired coordinators immediately, he's looked in the mirror and he's done it quickly. I don't think he's done that at LSU. No, I don't know if it's complacency because he's got this big contract and he's at his last job of his career. It feels like that he has become incredibly complacent. And we're now living in this world where he's not trying to take that step forward and he's not recognizing that they have to make aggressive adjustments in order to get there. We'll see what happens, man.
Look, you got outcoached by a former assistant, and we need to talk about Vanderbilt here. Yeah, Vanderbilt did everything humanly possible to outcoach a team. And Joe, I got to be real with you. I think on both lines of scrimmage, because I don't think LSU defensively is bad, but they will push people around and they play their style of football, and they just continued to be one of the best teams on third down. Joe, they're second in the country in third down rate because Pavia just knows how to run the system. They run triple option principles. They ran 5 plays in the second half. 5. It's like Herman Boone once said on Remember the Titans, just like Novocaine, give it time, it'll work. And they couldn't stop it. When I look at Vandy, man, I don't know what their ceiling is, but Clark Lee has completely turned the program around in 5 years before BK could turn a program in LSU around in 4. And that's just a fact.
Which is impressive. I think that, and also ironic because he's a Brian Kelly.
Mike Elko's done the same thing.
Yeah.
Brian Kelly's been very good at hiring people. What he hasn't been good at is taking it serious in reference to, hey, man, there are times that you got to take over.
Right. It does seem like that's what I'm saying. The complacency's passed off a lot of the blame that can go towards other people instead of himself. I think for the Vanderbilt side of things, I think that they are realistically last year's South Carolina team where they are going to steal games and they're going to be really tough out because their quarterback's super elusive and their scheme is tremendous. But I really don't understand these narratives that like they win a game like this And the same narrative was brought up after the South Carolina game that there's some sneaky title dark horse and they could win the SEC. I just don't
they
personally see that. I think that they're a really well-coached team that has a great culture and a great intensity. But I think talent-wise, there's absolutely a gap. Absolutely. I don't think that the way that their secondary played and some of the big plays that they gave up to an LSU offense that's been a mess, that stuff to me is an issue because when Vanderbilt actually goes up against Missouri coming up soon, that to me is the thing when reality sets in.
We got to talk about Vandy and Missouri this week.
And I think that
1 teams, 6-1.
The rest of their schedule that they've got coming up, I don't think it's for certain that they beat Texas. On the road. I don't think it's for certain that they actually could probably beat Tennessee, and I can absolutely see them. They're going to kick the crap out of Kentucky. They're probably going to beat Auburn, but they have to finish the season strong and they need to play their best ball. I just don't see a team though that has that like real true championship caliber structure. I think that there's legitimate holes and they're outplaying those holes because they have such intensity and such focus.
Yeah, I agree with you. Very impressive performance. And here's what I'd say. I think there's more going on behind the scenes at LSU than people even realize. We'll leave
I believe it.
No, ain't no belief on it. The eye Blake says so.